Greetings and salutations, outsiders! If you are looking for the finest historical weapons available, then look no further than these. Today's list begins with a weapon imbued with unmatched panache. This is the Lewis gun by Team Full-On. Designed privately in the United States, the Lewis gun was later adopted by the United Kingdoms, hence its use in the greatly anticipated Fallout London project. The version provided by this mod is more than the sum of its history, though. It doesn't use the British .303 round, but instead uses 5mm, 45 caliber, and .308. Regardless of which ammo type you choose, you also have the option of adding additional damage through the use of makeshift futuristic weapon modifications, such as the incendiary and plasma infusers.
Wow. That is so cool.
Or more aptly, hot attack. As you can see with the plasma variant, the firing mechanisms of what appear to be a plasma pistol have been fastened to the Lewis gun's solid wood frame and back barrel. Which leads me to the textures and modeling. Though there aren't an incredibly large number of modifications available for the weapon, the Lewis gun is exquisite, featuring top-of-the-line textures. It is also impeccably well animated, as is always the case with Nier's mods. His amazing pistol mod was the frontrunner of the last historical weapon mods video, in fact. One of the coolest aspects about the Lewis's design is the ability to switch from a shouldered grip to a waist-level grip. Using the workbench, you can have a historically accurate carry handle that lets you use it like you might use the minigun or Gatling laser. There are custom animations for both third-person and first-person options, with or without the carry handle, each of which works with POW armor, making this the perfect heavy weapon. The gravity mag on the top of the weapon is also custom animated to give the appearance of genuine rotation.
I think that's a bit of trickery, though, using that jangly thing on the top to deceive you, little Sastra.
You're probably right. Nevertheless, it is a stellar weapon that hits really hard when fully upgraded. The Lewis gun is leveled listed, but can also be found at Fort Strong. Once you have acquired it for the first time, it can be crafted at the chemistry station. It also spawns on enemies over level 25. Tess, you're up.
Yes, I'm Sastra. For our next mod, we have the illustrious Magra of PM by Alex Squapion. If this weapon were any sexier, I'd be barefoot and pregnant in its kitchen. Then we'd have to listen outside voicing these videos. Only, he's got a super sexy voice, and because I have no self-control, that would result in me getting even pregnanter. Which would then spark a war between Meister outside and little it's Meckrold, ending in my babies becoming orphans.
That is weirdly detailed. Why would your kids be orphaned?
I'd reach pantry, drowning my sorrows in peanut butter ice cream, which would infuriate you to the point of baking a par full of antifreeze this evening. Thus, I would leave my babies to Russian Bear III to raise, while you languish in prison.
What? Yeah, that tracks.
Your mind is very scary to me, little witch. But I do find babies terribly adorable, so I become godfather.
Anyway, the Magra is a solid 9 out of 10 handgun SMG rifle, lacking in only one respect. It doesn't have a third-person rifle animation. Instead, you carry and use it like a handgun, which makes sense while one in POW armor, but not otherwise. Fortunately, this weapon is best suited to first-person TQC in the same way that the Lewis gun is better suited to third-person mid-range combat. As a semi-auto, the Makarov will devastate against lower-level enemies because of its impressive firing rate, despite it having a low ammo capacity at base. It only holds 7 rounds to start, but can be equipped with a 64-round drum magazine.
Foolish witch. The drum magazine is capable of carrying 100 bullets.
Damn, no wonder it takes so long to burn through them all. Anyway, anyone who can't make do with that many rounds doesn't deserve to survive. Especially when you consider what I said earlier about being able to craft a compact rifle or SMG from it. Though it is an old-school firing platform, the Magra can be made into a sleek, modern firearm that makes you feel like a KGB badass. Or Death good. From Ezio.
I'm pretty sure he was using attacker off.
Nah, not but different. Outside! Get your lazy butt in here.
As you wish, my dearest.
Hi.
Might I be of assistance?
You're kinda mean, you know?
I can't say as I knew what you're referring to.
Huh? Referring to what now?
I think that she intended to indicate that we have arrived at the Winchester.
Damn it, sister, this is how we bond. Come on.
Ah, so I see. If there was ever a weapon capable of contending with the mighty Winchester 1876 lever-action rifle, I do not know of it. Hence my using it in the course of dispatching these Zetan invaders from our Wild Wasteland episode a couple weeks prior. Fitting, seeing as it also contributed largely in the dispatch of vagrants in the Wild West. Should you desire this exquisite piece of all-American engineering, you may find it on enemies and vendors alike. It may also be manufactured through the Kempster station. The weapon has an exquisite figure and features a wide variety of modifications. You will find the weapon amply diverse, with only a pair of negative attributes I would prefer to mention early. The Winchester's animations are not functional with power armor, and it does not have see-through scopes accessibility to my knowledge. That said, there may be patches for both of those issues should you need them. Those things aside, I did draw quite a bit of enjoyment from this firearm. It carries a staggering 15 rounds of either 44 or 38 caliber ammunition. The low starting caliber makes ammunition easier to acquire early in the game, while the less successful high caliber bullets provide greater stopping power later on, when funds should be more forthcoming. This allows you to use the weapon throughout the entirety of the game, with exceptions for certain enemies such as Deathclaw, which are nearly unkillable in my own mod profile. With its fast fire rate, you'll be able to fend off enemies with relative ease. The problem with the default Winchester is the reloading time. Given that it holds so much ammo, a resilient enemy or group of enemies have a significant chance of overwhelming you. A mod that helps mitigate that issue is Bullet Counted Reload, which provides the ability to reload only the number of rounds fired, or to cancel a reload prematurely without losing your progress. This comes in terribly handy when you've got only one enemy remaining and require only a single round. Alternatively, you have the option of using a shorter tube, which limits your ammo capacity overall, therein shortening the time required for reloading. That option also allows you to create a compact Winchester Randall like you might see in Hunt Showdown, the game from which my moniker was coined. Along with the many features of the Winchester, you get a collection of aesthetic choices for the furniture. The iconic standard, brilliant birch, epic ebony, worthless walnut, and yes man yellow.
Those bloody cowards.
Quite so, my darling.
I am also deserving a pet name, you know. I am only animal here. Except Tess.
I'm sure we'll come up with one eventually, you burly bear, you. Tess, how about you take the next one?
Well, it would be my pleasure, Master Outside. This weapon has the silliest reloading animations I've ever seen. The only way it could be any goofier would be if it were reloading chickens. But that would require firing chickens in the first place, and Jeff is great at his job. Not to mention how psychologically damaging that would be to March and the kids. And if they don't trust me, I'll lose out on a perfectly good emergency food supply.
Please tell me you didn't buy a family of chickens.
I most certainly did not buy a family of chickens with your credit card. The Marini Hattery ICI Experimental is another follower of Ungen mod, which we have no affiliation with, by the way. This is a pre-release version of the weapon, which explains why it is so buggy. That said, it is a banger of a weapon. Just listen to that glorious sound. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, sorry. That's a glorious sound. Simple in its construction, the Marquini is a single-shot rifle, slightly more advanced than a musket. The thing does a considerable amount of damage without necessarily being overpowered.
Unless, of course, you do that quest that leads you to the ultimate version.
Too true, Astra. As is the UK case, the Queen rules. There are a few places in the Commonwealth wherein you may find the weapon, or you can use the add item menu, such as Outside did. Alternatively, you can assume the Queen's Gambit quest, which takes you to the unmarked bank near Diamond City. A special, unique variant and its modifications are all stored within the vault. Be sure to open the wall safe, otherwise you'll need to craft the mods, which requires a lot of high-level perks. The Queen's Gambit is the ultimate form of this weapon. In Outside's game, it does around 1,000 damage. He is level 100 though, so there is no guarantee you'll do the same. Every craftable variant of this weapon requires a tremendous number of perks, probably for the purposes of scaling. Sorry if you are out of footage outside. Forgive me?
Easily forgiven, dearest.
You two are weirdly adorable. Emphasis on weird. The soldering inertia is what sweet dreams are made of. This is in no uncertain terms a divine weapon, though it may not appear to be so at first glance. The base form is unique all on its own, featuring a particularly unusual flight mechanism that is fully exposed, rather than being shielded against debris. This makes for an interesting, albeit not unheard of, animation loading. The player places one round directly into the barrel before loading the remaining shells into the chamber. It is a semi-automatic shotgun with third person animations inferior to the first person ones. Weapon modifications are very limited, only allowing you to change the length of the barrel, ammo tube, furniture, and stock. The full-length version carries up to 5 shells, including the one in the chamber, while the shortened version holds only 3. Fair warning, that is not enough for anything more than scattering varmints. What makes the Sogerin inertia so special is not the base form, but the quest to acquire the weapon.
We are 100% going to spoil the class right now. There isn't any dialogue or drama, but still, fair warning.
You first venture out to Lake Conapoet to find a broken Sogerin abandoned by a woman with knowledge of a superior version. Following the note to her body, you will discover a pristine Sogerin and will receive the quest The Gun in the Stone. Accepting this Arthurian task, you go to Nohant Chapel. I have not said this correctly. Nevertheless, venture out to the chapel, slay a beast, and learn if you are worthy of this mighty weapon, the Holy Sogerin Inertia, a weapon heralded on the wind and delivered by a holy choir of angels. I mean this literally. Anytime you draw out the weapon, it appears as if by magic, levitating before you as the character reaches forth to take it. This happens regardless of the reason of the weapon being left your hand. Fall into water? Take a stim pack? Scratch your butts? Doesn't matter. It is accompanied by music now. Additionally, the Holy Sogerin is imbued with heavenly fire and does additional damage, making it the only choice of Sogerin. I have run on, Mr. Outside. Forgiven, yes?
Hell no, I'm kicking your musty ass out onto the street.
What is this madness? You forgive Psycho without even slap on the wrist and agate boots?
Well, you aren't cute, for one thing.
Neither is she.
Oh my gosh, could that be the Thompson-Center Contender I've heard so much about? Well, you soon I think it is. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and review it myself then, shall I?
Thank you, Sastra.
Whatever. D. Magnus's Contender is a particularly devastating weapon of simple construction. In its simplest form, the Contender is nothing more than a crappy break-action pistol capable of chambering an absolutely massive 50 caliber slug. It can also use shotgun shells and 38 and 44 caliber slugs. Mod options are limited with this, albeit more plentiful than I would have expected. Why, for instance, would you need and or want a long-range night vision optic for a weapon with an effective range of 20 meters? I dare say that is overkill. There really is only one reason to acquire such a weapon, which would be to correct the state of the Commonwealth. The legendary Bacalov Corrector is the Thompson-Center's answer to the question, can you blow up a spaceship with just one bullet? Yes. All 7 of them. This version of the weapon fires a highly explosive bullet capable of administering 1,000+ pounds of black powder devastation. Nothing on God's green earth can survive a shot from it, and because you are sure to try, I would advise you not ever fire it indoors. You will either blow yourself up or shatter your limbs, which is part of blowing yourself up. It is way too powerful. Your turn, Tess.
Pass.
What?
The Lamont Mark II is a cowboy gun, which is what I have outside for.
Would you perhaps mind demonstrating your draw for us again, dearest?
Well, I suppose I wouldn't mind. Should you not yet be impressed, I suggest darning the mythically majestical might of the mighty Lamont Mark II. First seen by our crew during the Days of the Hunt showdown, the Lamont is a rugged revolver with a staggeringly large 9-round cylinder. It also has the ability to chamber an additional projectile in the form of an underbarrel shotgun. This may very well have been the first iteration of the Master Key system, and though I wish it was true, the Fallout 4 version does not let you toggle to and from the shotgun shell. Should you wish to employ it as you would a real Lamont, you'll need to carry Dose Lamont and use the integrated hotkey. Should you not have the mind to do that though, you needn't worry. The Lamont is an impossibly powerful pistol even without the albeit immensely helpful additional shotgun shell. I say impossibly because the Lamont fires faster than its own hammer can handle, as seen here. Along with the common 44 and 45 caliber rounds, the Lamont can also chamber the beautifully badass mini ball. It is a black powder powered heavy round that rips its way through the enemy, delivering devastating damage to unsuspecting foes. Cue silence the naysayers. Outside took the liberty and pleasure of liberating Fort Strong by use of the fully upgraded weapon. Sure, it doesn't have the fancy textures available in many modern mods, but it does match, if not exceed, anything produced recently by the CSEP team. No offense to you guys, I love your quest mods, keep up the good work. B Magnus focused instead on immersing you in the weapon through the use of excellent custom third and first person animations. They are sadly only 50% functional in POW armor, with the third person anims working but not the first. Little things, friends. You also get a collection of modifications that are both aesthetic and practical, such as the adorable detail over the grip. It wasn't until Outside reviewed the footage for scripting purposes that we discovered that each detail provides a perk boost or special effect. The skull and crossbones, for instance, provides a small chance of instantly ending an enemy's miserable green line. There are also different trigger guards and see-through scopes enabled scalps.
That was absolutely wonderful, my love.
You may think you tricked me into reading that whole thing, but you didn't. I tricked you into sweetness.
Please, God, stop doing that.
Human affection is strange. As bear, I give Lady Salmon, boom, romance over.
That's all we got for today. If you enjoyed the mods, endorse them. And if you enjoyed the video, check yourself into a psychiatric facility.
Or check your wrist. You may already be admitted.
We make new videos every Sunday.
We love you guys.
And we wish you all great days.